Hello everyone, I'm going to show you how to use blend modes and brushes along with a photograph to create something similar to this. Let's get started. First of all, you're going to need to get some brushes. I've put some brushes in Google Classroom for you. Let me show you how to get them. So go to Google Classroom and under Photoshop Tutorials, click to open the Blend Modes and Brushes with a Photo project. And you'll see that I have placed 5 different types of brushes here. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one called BB Watercolor. I'll click it, and when it opens in the new window, I can choose Download. This will go to the Downloads folder on my computer. Click Save and wait for that to download. I'm going to go and get one more. Let me go back to Google Classroom and I'm going to choose GeoBurst and download that. And it's going to my downloads folder. I'll click Save. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there for now. Back to Photoshop. So to load the brushes in Photoshop, first of all, select the brush tool. Make sure that you have the correct brush tool because there are others that look similar to it. For example, this one, which is the History brush tool, and this one up here, which is the Quick Selection tool. So confirm that you have the correct brush tool selected. Then go up to the menu across the top and click the little menu option to open this window. Now on the side, I'm going to look for the gear, click the gear, and go to Import Brushes, right here, kind of towards the bottom. Now, this will open up a window, and it's gone to my Downloads folder, but you can also click Downloads here on the side just to confirm. So here's my watercolor brush. I will click Load. And if I scroll down to the bottom, I can see here they are, BB Watercolor. Now I'll go back to the gear and go to Import Brushes and click on GeoBurst and click Load. And if I scroll down to the bottom, there are the GeoBursts. If I open this folder, I can see what they look like. And there's all my brushes that I'm going to be using today. Next, I'm going to open this image. I'll go to File, Open, navigate to my Google Drive, and I have a folder inside my photo folder called Photos for Demos. And let me find this bird. There it is. And I'm going to not recreate it exactly, but I'll show you some of the things that I did. And from this point on, you get to decide what your colors are going to be. You can use some of the techniques that I did or not. So it's up to you to combine all of this together in a way that you like for your image. Okay, so here is the Layers panel, and I'm going to go down to the bottom and click this plus sign to add a new layer. And the first thing that I want to do is give this a little bit of a different color tint. So I'm going to open my swatches, which are right here, and I'm actually going to click on this tab and drag it off and make it longer so that I can see my color options. And I've clicked to open all of these folders. So I'm going to choose maybe this dark magenta color right here. And I'll go ahead and get the paint bucket, which is over here grouped with the other paint tools like the gradient. And I'll just paint that. Now, I'm going to go to my blend modes. So here in my layers panel where it says normal, I'll click to open that, and once I click on one of them, I can use my keys on my arrow keys on my keyboard to go through those one at a time. And I think I like that one right there. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is use some of my brushes. So I will choose my brush tool. Let me click and hold and choose the correct one, which is the one on the top, brush tool. And I will go, here are my GeoBursts and my watercolors. So I'm going to choose maybe this watercolor brush right here. Yeah, that looks interesting. So to make the menu go away, you can hit return or enter on the keyboard. And let's see, what color shall I use? Maybe this kind of gold color right here. And again, a new layer. There we go. And I'll just start kind of scattering this around, but I don't want my brush strokes to look completely the same. So what I'm going to do is open my brush panel. So go to Window, Brush, Settings, and I'm going to take my brush settings and pull that off and put it over here. Now you can see this circle right here. This lets you rotate your brush. So I'm going to move that. So now my brush is going a different direction. So it's not going to look fake if I just keep using the same brush. Oh, and look at that. You can change it in all sorts of different ways. And on my keyboard, next to the P key is the bracket key. So I'm going to make the brush larger. And let me rotate it some more. Have some coming in from the side here. And I'm kind of just creating a frame around the bird for now. And we'll see what happens as I build up the layers. Okay, I also want to show you here in the brushes that in addition to the brushes that you can add, there's already some interesting brushes here. So for example, a couple of brushes that I like, under wet media, I do like, under special effects brushes, I do like spatters. So I'm going to try this spatter right here and hit enter on the keyboard to make that menu go away. And I'm going to use the bracket key to make that spatter really large. And I'm going to use some sort of a, so 5,000 is the highest that it will go. I'm going to use this blue color right here and get a new layer and spatter some blue on here. And it's kind of gone in some areas that I don't want it to go. And so I'll show you how to fix that. So you can just get the eraser tool, which is right here. And I'm going to set the eraser, I do like a soft eraser. So opening this menu here, I'm going to put this on 0 and hit enter to make that menu go away. And using my bracket keys, I'm going to make that brush a little larger, and I'm going to erase it back. If it's on the bird a little bit, that's okay, but I don't want it too much covering the bird. All right, let's see. Let me go ahead and add another layer. And this time I'm going to go back to my dark magenta, and let's go back to the brush. This is a nice brush here. This is another default brush that comes with Photoshop. It's called Kyle's Concept Brush number 306. So I'll choose that one. And again, on the using the bracket keys, I'll make that really large. They look kind of like petals to me, flower petals. So I'm going to kind of just scatter this around. I'm going to change it to a different color. So let me show you a different way to change the color. I have this dark magenta chosen, but I can go over here and double click on this and bring up this color chooser, and I'll go ahead and make it lighter. And then I'll add some more of these on here. And let me get even lighter. So I'll double click this and get an even lighter color and throw some of those on there. So I'm kind of creating an all over pattern. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is change the blend mode of that. So over here in the layers panel, first I'll put it on dissolve, and now that this is highlighted, I'll just use the arrow keys to go through those one at a time. And when I find one that I like lighten. I like soft light. I like pin light, but it's a little bit too dark for me. So I'm going to take layer 4 and I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to reduce the opacity of it. So that's looking pretty good. I like that. And it turns out I don't really like this gold color. So what I'm going to do is change the color of that. So let's try the blend modes. So it's on normal now. Let's try darken and scroll through those. And kind of like color dodge. I'm going to go with hard light. And I think that my blue spatters are too bold, so I am going to reduce the opacity of those two. Maybe something kind of like that. Okay, well, so as you can see, this did turn out different than my other version, but that's okay. It's just a exciting way to use brushes and blend modes and all sorts of different colors and options to create something unique and unexpected. So what I would do when I'm finished with this is save it. I might want to go back and play around with this some more. So I'm going to save one version as a Photoshop document to preserve my layers, and then I'm going to save another version as a JPEG so that I can turn that into Google Classroom. So I will go to first File, Save As, and I will save to your computer, and I'm going to call this, I'll just call it Blend and Brushes. And it's a Photoshop document. Pay attention to where you're saving it to. So mine is going to my Photos for Demos folder. And I'll click Save. And I get an option saying would I like to maximize compatibility? Okay. All right, now I'm going to save it again. So File, Save As, and this time I will also save to your computer, but I will change the file type to JPEG, and I'll leave it the same, blend and brushes. Maybe I'll put turn in. So I know this is the one I'm going to turn into Google Classroom. So I'll double check where I'm saving it to. So it's the folder Photos for Demos. Click Save, and I get a quality option. 8 is fine, so I'll click OK. Now I'm finished, and I can turn this project into Google Classroom. All right, that's it, everyone. Have fun.